I'm turning to the introduction to Danny Valentine, who is the president of the Lincoln Hill Foundation.
My name is Danny Valentine, but I'm not quite president of the Lincoln. Oh, I am president of Lincoln Hills Foundation. I get the association business and the foundation business a little mixed up sometimes. Thank you for coming here. Welcome. This is a forum presented by the Lincoln Hills Association, but this forum is co-sponsored by the Lincoln Hills Foundation, and we are proud to provide funding to Seniors First for all the good work that they do. Some of those efforts will be explained in some detail this afternoon, and I hope that you will listen carefully, but more importantly, share what you learn here with your friends and neighbors. This is information that I think will be valuable to many more people than are in the audience this afternoon. And with that, Jamie Horning and her team will begin.
Okay.
You might want that.
I think I'm hooked up.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay? I can't tell if, can you hear me okay?
I can't.
Okay.
I'm going back.
In the back, wave at me if you can hear me. Okay, good. Good deal. First of all, before I get started, I'm going to introduce somebody here that lives amongst you, David Hathaway, and he's here to talk about Placer County Health and Human Services peer counseling. They're looking for volunteers, and it's a great group, and they provide a great service. So he's going to chat about that first.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Hathaway, as Jamie mentioned. I'm a senior peer counselor with Placer County. I've been doing this for 7 years. It is very rewarding, and it's a kick in the pants. It's fun to work with seniors and be a peer and mentor to them. Part of what we do is, on a confidential, in-home basis, counsel clients on various issues that they might be facing at a given time. Such issues being family conflicts, medication and substance abuse issues, loss of independence, caregiver stress, depression, anxiety, access to community resources such as Seniors First, loneliness, and a biggie, loss of driver's license. This really turns some people into tailspin, and it's very debilitating. So we are a group of volunteers trained initially for 30 hours with a 2-hour weekly update. We're lay people, but employ fairly comprehensive counseling techniques. And I like to feel that we do a lot of good one-on-one, which is important. We're hands-on, we're confidential, we're free, we come to you. That's it. So anybody, if you know anybody that needs counseling, likes counseling, wants to counsel, could counsel, I have literature out on the front table, and I'm open to a couple questions if anybody has some right now.
Anybody? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. No, it's totally free. We go to you, whether you're in assisted living, in your home, wherever you are. And so, no, there's no charge. And it's strictly confidential. Yes.
It's under Placer County.
Hi,
where's it in
Joan.
here? Where is it in
Good.
here?
My wife says hello.
Peer counseling? Yeah, she'll find it. She's the expert.
I will.
How many hours does the average counselor actually out counseling?
Okay, we carry a caseload of 3 to 4 clients. We spend upwards of an hour, maybe more, with each client. So that's 4 hours. We have in-service training for another 2 hours. So 6 hours a week, 7 hours a week, and portal to portal, so maybe 10 hours. Sure. Any others? Yes.
Excuse me, just raise your hand and I have to take the mic to you.
How are people referred to you?
People are referred by caregivers, by hospitals, Kaiser, Sutter, Seniors First, relatives, assisted living. So it's a broad spectrum of people that serve seniors that see the need, know we exist, and refer to us. Anybody else? All right, Jamie, thank you so
Okay.
much for your concession of
Absolutely.
time. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, thank you.
And
We-
Jamie, I would just like to remind you also that if you have any question, let them raise their hand and I run with the microphone.
Perfect. I will do that. So I'll talk a little bit about their program. We work really closely with the Health and Human Services to be able to support them as well, and we refer people often to that program. It's a really valuable program because oftentimes it's for seniors that are going through a hard time, like he said, accepting that they can't drive anymore. And so the peer counselors get to be there at a time in their life when they need somebody and really need the support to get them through. So if you have time and are interested, that's a great program to participate in. Now let me just get back here. Okay. So before I start, I always like to share why I'm so passionate. Am I in the light enough? Okay. Why I'm so passionate about seniors and why I do what I do every day. And for me, it started out as a young girl. I was going home from school, grew up on the Oregon coast. As I was going home, I noticed an elderly lady struggling to get her groceries into her house. And so I befriended her and I said, let me help you. And I helped her inside the house. And that started an amazing friendship. From that day forward, I would run home to my mom, check in, and then I'd run across the street to her house. During the process of our friendship, she taught me how to knit, crochet, sew. She would have recipes like Martha Stewart, have all the ingredients out ready to go for me, and I'd get there, put on my apron, and we'd cook something, and she'd always send me home with the bounty. It was just the most amazing friendship. About a year into it, I came home and my mom said, I'm sorry to tell you she passed away last night. And I was absolutely devastated. My mom still to this day talks about it. She's like, we could never get you to shut up, but that's the only time you didn't say a word. Like I would not leave my room because I was so missing her. And I was really proud that my best friend was in her 80s. I thought that was the coolest thing ever because she taught me so much. And one of the things that she did for me that I didn't realize that set me on the path where I'm at here today, and that is that she had left specific instructions with her family. Her 2 adult children lived out of state, and she had left a letter for me and instructions on that she wanted me to go to her service. And so for me as a child, not really dealing with death before, it was my first encounter of dealing with death and having to process that. But then afterwards, I went back to her house and her kids read the letter that she had left for me. And that really changed my life because I didn't realize I was doing anything for her. I thought that I was getting everything out of this relationship, but in her letter she said that I had changed her life, that I gave her something to look forward to, just being able to engage with another human being and being able to show me things and teach me things made her so happy in days, and that she was just absolutely thrilled to have me as a friend. And that really set me on my path. From that point forward, I am pretty much, it's just my calling. I just have decided. The other day I woke up with a toothache, and I told my staff I have to go check out my tooth. I go into the dentist. They look at it and they said, there's nothing there. So I go out and sit in the waiting room, wait for them to finish everything up, and the lady comes in, and she is struggling, and so I pull out my business card, and she needs food, she needs rides, she needs like a lot of help, and she's really struggling. And I went back to my staff and I said, hey, I went to the dentist, but there was nothing wrong. But I did meet this lady, and they said, that's why you had to go to the dentist. It wasn't for me, it was for her. So I've accepted it. My husband, he has also accepted it. He knows. One time recently we were driving past our neighborhood up in Rockland. We live right by Springfield, and there was a gentleman that had fallen over with his walker. And I looked at my husband and he goes, I know, I'm stopping. I'm stopping. I get it. This is your calling. I know. So I'm really happy that I get to do something that helps other people, but it changes. I get so much more out of it than they do, I think. The lady also, my lady friend, she left. She told her kids that she wanted me to have first choice of anything in her house, whatever I wanted. And so it really, stuck with me how important I was to her. And I just really love that feeling. I think it's wonderful. And I think that there's nothing better that you can do than to show a person through their stages of life how valuable they are. Every senior, every older adult, every person has a story, and it's worth hearing and listening to. And so when I meet somebody, I can't wait to hear what they're going to tell me. And there's always some great ones. And there's some of you in here that I've heard some of your stories, and I love it. So I work for Seniors First because I get to do this every day. Seniors First also provides programs and services to keep seniors independent. And so it's very reminiscent of my friendship with my lady friend. And so it was a perfect fit for me. I started volunteering 8 years ago, and little did I know that I was on the path to eventually be executive director. 8 years ago, if you told me that, I would have said, no, not happening. Had never spoken public, had no desire to ever speak in public. So I'm getting better. I'll just say that. So at Seniors First, our mission is to provide long-term support and services to help Placer County older adults maintain their independence and thrive. And our tagline is keeping seniors independent and not forgotten. So we are here to provide support for anybody that is helping a senior, family members of seniors, anybody that is advocating for seniors. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, so we are dependent upon fundraisers, donations. We also have a lot of grants, and we are very blessed to have a great relationship with Lincoln Hills Foundation that has been so supportive of a lot of our programs. I'm going to talk about one specifically because your group here made a difference in the lives of many seniors we serve because of the support we've received. As I mentioned, we support anybody that's advocating on the behalf of a senior. We support caregivers. We support adult children call us oftentimes and need help to support their parents. That's why we're here. Denise is here, and she's the director of our INA department, and so information and assistance. And so she is here to answer those questions and help you if you have any special resources that you need. So I'm going to go right into it, and if you have a question that you think you're going to forget, raise your hand. I don't mind being interrupted, but if you can wait till the end, that's great too. And we'll do a whole question and answer session, and then Denise will come up too and answer some questions as well. So the first program I'm going to talk about, and I know it was something that was of interest, is our transportation program. We have actually 2 different programs that we offer. The first one is My Rides, and it's a donation, or it's a volunteer-based program. So we have volunteers that provide the rides. We have an older adult will call us and say, I need a ride to the doctor's or to the grocery store. And so we arrange a driver to pick them up, take them to their appointments, stay with them, and then bring them home. So it's really a great program for people that can't drive anymore. This provides them a way to get where they need to go. And safely. And our volunteers are amazing people. We have them, we just got together with them and did a celebration, and they told us some of their stories, and they're just the most amazing people. When I talk to those people too, I ask them, why do you do what you do? And they say, I'm filling the karma bucket because I know someday I'm going to need this, and so I really want it to come back to me. So that's the best kind of person to have support the program. So as I said, My Rides is volunteer-based. Our program, it provides rides to any senior 60 and better or those with disabilities to any essential need appointment. So we have a little bit of restriction. We have to have the doctor's appointments are the primary, but we will also, if we have a driver, we'll take someone to get their hair done if they need to, because we see, feeling good about yourself is also important too. The other program, our transportation program, is Health Express. And we partner with Sutter & Kaiser and Placer County Transportation Planning Agency to provide this program. This is a paid transportation ride, so a van comes and picks the person up, and it's only for medical transportation. It does accommodate oxygen tanks and wheelchairs, so it has a lift that can get them into the van safely, and there is a paid driver that's driving. It does cost a very small amount. Advanced reservations are $1.25. Same day in Placer County, if you can get it. There's no guarantee that you can get it, so it's better to plan ahead. But it's $250, and then a same-day trip to Sacramento is $5. If you plan ahead, it's $250. You can't get an Uber to do that for you, so that's a good program. Advanced registration is required, and you call through Seniors First. You basically just fill out an application. As long as you're 60 or better with a disability, we will cover you. So, yes, we have questions. It's arranged. If you go down there, they arrange the transportation back. Okay. Yes. So her question was, let me repeat it. Yeah, let me repeat the question for you. Her question was, if you get to Sacramento, do they bring you back? Which you don't want to stay in Sacramento necessarily, especially if you live here. But they do. They make arrangements to transport you there and back. Yes. I'll repeat them. If you want me to, I can repeat the questions. Okay. What she was asking if what is considered Sacramento. Since it's for medical appointments, we also go to Mather. It's pretty much where all the medical facilities are. So you just call and ask, but pretty much any of the medical facilities is where we transport to. Yes.
So just to really clarify, this is round trip.
Yes. So her question was, is this round trip? And yes, it is. You know, I think we often say like 2 weeks in advance is a good, if you can do that, but they have, I think, 8 to 10 buses, so they're able to plan ahead. The Sacramento trips are usually scheduled on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we work with the client that's calling that needs the ride, and if we need to help them by calling their doctors and requesting a change in the appointment, we can do that. So that was her question. Her question was, I'm sorry, I blanked. How many days in advance? And so we'll work with, we can get same day appointments, but if it's something really important, I would do 2 weeks in advance. Yes?
This is a great service, and there are groups in our community. Some of you probably know the Yahoo group that's in our community. People are asking, a lot about, I need a ride, to a doctor's appointment. How is this promoted? How can people find out about this? Because I think it's really very important information for people to know.
I agree, and I think I have spoke. I think it was last year. I spoke 180 times in the public, so I'm doing everything I can to get the word out. And so I would suggest word of mouth. We have our resource guide that we're gonna talk about, and that gets distributed. It's in there. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of people tell us that until they need it, that's when they go looking for it. And so I think one of the things that you can tell people is call Seniors First if you have any need. I'm going to touch on that, but basically we're a safety net to help whatever need you have. We work closely with the county. We work closely with other nonprofits. So any resource that you need, we have a team that's going to help you find it. So we have tons of business cards back there. I'd say take them, and anytime you see a senior that has any sort of need, give them the card, because we'll definitely find help for them. Any other questions on that? Okay, I'm going to move forward. Okay, so the next program we have is our senior nutrition program. This is another one people don't really know about, and this is how I started as a volunteer. I had teenagers, and it got to the age where they thought I was really not cool. And that was really devastating for me. When I came out in my swimming suit and the floaty, and it was summer, and my daughter's 16, and she's like, what are you doing? Like, no, I'm not swimming with you. Like, what are you doing? So I decided I needed to go somewhere to be appreciated, and so I went and worked in a cafe. So I went home and I told my family, I informed them, I'm young, I'm skinny, I'm beautiful, I'm funny, everybody likes me. So I let them know all that. So my daughter hates that story. She's now 24 and a grown girl, and she just detests that story. But and she's not like that anymore. She's improved. She likes me now again. So But the 8 cafes, it's an amazing environment. It's the reason for it. It's the whole purpose is socialization, is to get people out of their houses so that they can socialize. So it's for people that can get to a cafe. We have, like I said, 8 throughout the county. I have a list, although you'd have to have the best vision in the world, which I couldn't even see that. So we do have a list in the back. 4 in Roseville, 1 here in Lincoln, 1 in Colfax, 1 in Auburn, and 1 in Rockland. It's a noontime lunch. They come, they order it ahead of time, only need to order 1 day ahead of time. They come and enjoy a lunch and get to chat with people and hang out. So also, this program, yes, we have a question. Wait 1 second. I don't want to break the rules. I'm a rule follower.
I believe there's transportation to those meals. Maybe you could comment on that, please.
Yes, we do offer, they can call and get a ride from our My Rides program to get to the cafes if they need a ride, for sure. Definitely, that's offered. So the program that I mentioned earlier that I wanted to really say how wonderful Lincoln Hills Foundation is, 3 years ago, right before I took over as ED, it was a really bad welcome gift, but we lost the funding to Meals on Wheels in our county. It actually diverted to a Sacramento company. And that company came in and they did a great job, but they provided frozen meals. And for us, we think the home visit is so critical. So we developed this program, we presented it to Lincoln Hills, and Lincoln Hills helped get us launched on this program. We started it exclusively in Lincoln. So they help provide the meals for all the residents in Lincoln through your organization, and really helped us get out and sell the program. The program that we created, people that can afford to pay for it. It's $5 plus a $2 delivery charge. We also have subsidized funding for people that can't afford to pay for it. Because of this program and because of the support that they provided, we were able to this year go back and get the funding back for Meals on Wheels. So I'm really excited to say that now we operate the Meals on Wheels program, and it's great because we're going to continue with our My Meals program because we can offer the paid meals, and we can offer, if they don't fit into the funding it's really restrictive, we can provide them other funding to provide meals. So I'm really excited about this program, and I'm really grateful to Lincoln Hills Foundation for the support, because we wouldn't be where we're at today. It would be a whole different story, so it was really a huge thing. Our home delivered meal program, it's hot meals delivered to your door Monday through Friday. It is subscription-based meal program. You can pick how many days you want it. It's really great for people that are caregivers taking care of a spouse or just need a little break. It's a great meal. It's a huge meal. It's actually 2 trays of food. They usually have a cold tray and a hot tray. Our food provider is Aramark. And the interesting thing about this, when I first came out with this program, I was a little shy to say it, but I'm really proud of it because I've seen what a difference this program makes. Our meals are actually provided by the probation department at the Central Jail in Roseville. And so basically, Aramark is now the provider, and they have an inmate training program. So they have a large amount of staff, but they also have inmates that come in and they train. It's a culinary kitchen, so they train on a skill that they can use once they get out. The people that work in the kitchen are basically really close to release. So it's really important for them to be motivated, learn a skill so that they can get out and do something, get a job and be resourceful. So we're really proud of this program for that reason too, because it's really full circle. I have actually been in and talked to the inmates that work on this program, and I've seen them cry over the fact that they feel so honored that they're helping somebody else. A lot of times with our jail system, people go in and they just sit there and wait till their release day. In this, they know every day when they're preparing those meals that it's going to somebody who needs it really desperately, and it means something to them. So it's really huge. So thank you again. I can't thank you guys enough, Lincoln Hills Foundation. I just really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you. And then so we now have Meals on Wheels. Starting July 1st, we have 200 new clients that will be dropping meals off. So we'll be serving approximately 350 to 400 meals a day in Placer County. So it's a really great deal. So with the Meals on Wheels funding, it's a little different. The restrictions are completely different. It's they have to be homebound, 60 or better, and homebound or with a disability. So we go in and do an assessment and see where they're at. We have to follow the activities of daily living. We have to make sure that they fall within the criteria. The great thing about this is now that we have this program, if they don't fit in this program, we've got 2 other options for them. So I'm really excited to be able to offer that. We have a question right over here.
No.
Oh my
She's
God.
not going to hear of it.
What if you had surgery or something like that, and you had to be homebound and you couldn't care for yourself because you were alone, and it would be temporary, not a permanent disability?
Yes, we do that too. So with that is part of the criteria for Meals on Wheels. We reassess quarterly, so somebody can just have like a transition from hospital to home and need it just for a little bit, and we can keep them on it. The great news is if they like it and they want to continue on, we have other options for that as well. So it's a win-win. One more question right here. So her question is it breakfast, lunch, or dinner? It is actually it's a lunchtime meal. We bring it at lunchtime. The great thing with Aramark is that they provide services throughout the country, and the capabilities are endless. So our plan eventually is to add on a la carte items. So if somebody wants to order a breakfast, they can have it. Also to order frozen meals for the weekend so that they have a stock of meals in their fridge so that they have enough food. A lot of the people that we serve on our meal program are dependent upon that meal. That may be the only meal they get in a day, and so we do whatever we can to make sure that they have what they need. We also recently started a collaboration with local food closets, and so those people, when we go in and assess and see, wow, this person can really use some more food, we work with the local food banks to get them signed up, and we deliver a bag of food for them extra so that they have extra food to make it through. We do it halfway through the month, so when their money starts to run low, that they have options. They're not just stuck there without food. So that's another way where I'm saying, if you see a senior in need, just have them call us because we can get them connected to services. We have one more question over here.
This may be important to other people than in Sun City, Lincoln Hills, but I really am very curious. Will this program be threatened by politics in Washington?
Well, unfortunately, I think all programs like this are threatened.
Well, it says Placer County.
Yeah, we only serve Placer County, but I think definitely our funding comes from the government. So for that program, the great thing is that we have another program that we operate that we did before, so we've got kind of a safety net. So that's the thing that's really great about this program is I think going out and working to get this other program set up, we have some options. So I hope someday that I can stand up here and say to you that the answer is no. We are going to make sure everybody in this county is covered, but that's going to take a lot more me talking and a lot more fundraising, so I'm on it.
So you have no information about that at this time?
There's been no decision yet. We know if you're active, follow our Facebook page. If you're active on that and you're willing to write letters or call Congress, we will keep you updated. Right now, we have not heard anything that's affecting what we do. So, one more question up here. Oh.
Hi. Could you tell me how much for the cafe meals and what is the price range for Meals on Wheels?
Yes. So Meals on Wheels, there is no charge. It's donation-based. Our cafes, there's no charge. It's donation-based. The only program that we offer a charge for, and that's just if people don't qualify for the other two, is the home-delivered meals, the My Meals, and that's $5 with a $2 delivery charge. We have a lot of people that call us and say, I can pay for this. I want to pay for it. And they get the food delivered. But we have two options of subsidized funding, and they come to the meal. Or the cafes, and they get it for free if they can donate. We always ask requested donation is $3, but not everybody can pay for it, so it's covered regardless if they can pay for it or not. We have a question back there and a question up here. I can take that mic if you want.
Is the menu the same for the Meals on Wheels as it is for the cafe, or are all three of them the same meal?
It is. It's all the same meal. And what we found, what's been really great, we had a change recently from the probation department. The Board of Supervisors put it out for RFP, and so Aramark got the contract. And the food is amazing. They've been bringing samples in, and I tried one, and one day I ate 2 trays. It was Sloppy Joe's, and it was delicious. I couldn't stop myself. I didn't eat the bread, so I justified that by eating the second tray. I'm not sure if that counts, but.
When you have the meals delivered, say you live by yourself, say you want 3 meals for 3 separate days. Now, do you pay at the door when they deliver them? And do you pay, like if it's 1 delivery, 3 meals, do you still pay the $2 delivery for each of the 3 meals?
We, right now, we're just delivering them daily. We haven't got it set up to do the frozen ones yet, but we can work that out through the office. If you're paying for them, all you have to do is call and talk to them and say, this is what I want, and we work through however to accommodate what you need.
Jamie?
Yes.
Are they accommodate vegetarian food also?
Right now, we don't have that option, but it is 1/3 of the daily allowance for seniors, and we will have that option with Aramark. We will be able to do vegetarian, we will be able to do gluten-free, and we'll be able to do diabetic meals. So that's coming down. We really just transitioned to Aramark. It was kind of a surprise. We went to the Board of Supervisors meeting and found out there that it was switching, and so it's been we're barely through the 4th week, so it's been a new thing, but it's been amazing. And Aramark has been so supportive of the program. They have been just wonderful to work with. So we will be able to do the diabetic and different special menus. We'll also be able to eventually have alternates. So just give us a month or 2 and we'll have that ready to go. Another question over here. I know. I should be doing this.
Exercise for today. Thank you. It was my experience that I had eye surgery. I live alone. I was told I was told, not to move or raise my head, and the doctor had no idea that this was available to me, and so it was very difficult to do what they asked me to do and still cook and all that. I was wondering, is there a way that you could make yourselves known to these surgeons and these medical places so that their patients would be aware of this?
Yeah, we are working on that, and we do have our resource guides in Sutter. It's just hard to let all the individual doctors know. I go and speak yearly to the discharge planners that are there when people get discharged and are helping them. So we are working with Sutter specifically to do that. I also have somebody from Kaiser on my board. So our goal is to do that. Another thing that's happening in our county, it's called the Adult Disability Resource Connection. This is a model of service that is available in other counties, Nevada County. I'm actually the chair of the committee to try to bring it to our county. And what that would mean is that we would have things like hospital to home transitions for people. So that you'd have somebody that comes to your room and says, here, this is what we have to offer you, we'll help you get all set up. The hardest thing is to be alone and come home from the hospital and try to get better when you're coming home to rotten food in your fridge, if you didn't know you were going to the hospital, or just being alone and not being able to take care of that. So we recognize that and really want to work towards that. My staff is actually going through the training to do the different options counseling, and I hope that our county will have that ADRC connection soon, because it's something that would help in that situation. People should have help transitioning from a stay like that into their home. But now you know about us, so you can tell everybody else. They should. They absolutely. So, and I'll keep doing my part too. But yeah, if you go back to your doctor and say, hey, you should know about this. You can take some of my cards and you can help me spread the word, get it out there. Okay, Friendly visitors. So this is a wonderful program for the seniors that are isolated and are at home alone. We have a lot of seniors that they can't leave their house for whatever reason. We connect them with a volunteer who we screen, they go through a background check, and they go and visit them. Just like my friend, I really like this program because it reminds me of my friendship, that there's some amazing friendships that are made out of this program. I've heard people talk about how successful. I talked to one lady, her husband was a vet, and right before he passed, he had a friendly visitor that came in and chatted with him every day, and it was so meaningful for her because it gave, they had lived together for years, and she had heard all his stories and didn't want to hear them anymore, and so it was nice to have somebody else there that was interested in hearing him. So it's really a great program. There's another story that I like to share, and we had a lady who had severe dental issues and needed her teeth replaced. She actually only had her 2 top teeth and her 2 bottom teeth, and she refused to give up steak, and she had the best personality, this lady. I went and visited her when they did her dental work, and she showed me, I'm like a little bunny rabbit, but I refuse to give up steak. Well, she ended up in the hospital because she choked on a piece of steak and it went to her lung. And so her friendly visitor said, this is not going to work for us. So she did the research, she called Denise, found out the resources for pro bono dental work because the lady couldn't afford the dental work. She was able to get her $6,000 in dental work covered. So she has all of her teeth, the partials all replaced. And I was there on the final fitting, and she said, I had just accepted the fact that I wasn't going to be going out in public anymore because I was so ashamed of the way I looked. And I just thought, that's horrible. You can't, and now she can't, I don't even think that she visits her anymore because she's always gone. She called me and she said, I can't nail her down. She's never there now. She's in clubs, at church, and all over the place. So it's really, this program is really, we're training them of the resources so that they can also spread the word and get the word out and connect people to resources. So, recreation and respite. This is an adult day program. We operate here 4 days a week in Lincoln at the Lincoln Library. It's for seniors with cognitive issues, and it's an opportunity to give their caregiver a much needed break. So they come and spend the morning from 9 until 1 with us. They do all sorts of really great activities. They do artwork and they do exercises, and it really keeps them stimulated. The caregivers often tell us that when they get home, they're in such a better place than when they left because they're satisfied. They've been mentally stimulated, they've been physically stimulated, and they're in a good place. And so it's really a wonderful program. This is $50 a day, and we do have scholarships through another nonprofit, Del Oro, that helps to offset the cost for people that can't afford it. So it's a wonderful program. We also operate 2 days a week in Auburn at our office on Loxley. She asked if it includes transportation, and it does. Some of our clients come on the Health Express bus, so we transport them. Some of them have walkers and oxygen tank or wheelchairs, so they're able to come on that Health Express.
Are there applications for this program out front, or do we call?
There is flyers, so you can call.
Flyers, okay.
Yeah, so you just call and they'll get you. Also, they'll give you the application and get you signed up for whatever you want. They also have support groups that go along with this, so it's great because it provides a community of support for the caregiver. And when they need resources, they're able to find them more easily.
Hi.
Hi.
I actually have some experience with this program, and I just want to make sure that people understand that the senior who wants to go to this program has to be approved in terms of their abilities, because these are not nurses or people who can care for people. So they have to be relatively mobile, and they have to be, not in any serious condition that requires nursing care of any kind.
Exactly, yeah, and they will do an assessment, and they'll make sure that they're a good fit. They actually come out to the house and do an assessment, and you're absolutely right. They need to be able to get around. They aren't nurses. They've worked in the program. The program was originally Sutter's program, and they asked us to take over the running of it. So it's the same Sutter employees that worked with Sutter for over the last 20 years. So it is a great program, but you definitely, if it's a senior going through a cognitive issue, it definitely is only for certain phases and where they're able to move around a little bit. Yeah. And we have referrals. If that doesn't fit, we have referrals for other things. There's another question right up here.
that was my question. You've defined, you know, the cognitive impairment, but is there anything like respite that's intended to benefit the caregiver? So you can take, there was a program in my hometown where you could take the patient, if you will, for the day, but it was more intended to benefit the caregiver, give him or her a brief rest.
Yeah, that's what the intention of this program really is. I mean, it's great because it gives their loved one something to do, but really what I've heard from it is that, you know, the caregiver gets the break. They get to go do whatever they want during those hours. Some come 3 days a week, some just come 1 day a week. We're available here in Lincoln and in Auburn 2 days a week, so it just depends on their schedule, but that's what it's there for.
Well, I understand, but whether, you know, cognitive or physical impairment, I don't quite know how you define the physical impairment.
So like any
Just plain
sort of,
old.
any Parkinson's, really pretty much anything that you know, that somebody has to care for them on a regular basis, that they can't be left alone. That provides the caregiver that break to go get groceries done, or just to take a nap. Sometimes, you know, especially with dementia or Alzheimer's, they can't even sleep well because they are always worried about their loved ones. So it's pretty much, you know, Parkinson's, any kind of cognitive, any sort of disability that makes them require a caregiver.
Thank you. Just one more thing. I know you said you do an assessment, but is a medical doctor's signature required?
I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Is actually just to assess whether or not they are at the point where they would be comfortable in that environment as well as safe. And so that is the assessment that is done. And I wanted to mention too that Joni, who's pictured in this picture up here, is the director of that department, and she does support groups for the caregivers. So that is an item that she does in addition that's really an asset for the caregiver.
Okay, any other questions on that one? I know there are other resources as well where a caregiver can get a break, a weekend break too. We have resources for that as well, by having their person visit a location so that they can have a weekend off. So, and Denise has those. Additionally, we have a geriatric planner that we work with, and she does assisted living placement, but she also does planning, lifestyle planning. Oftentimes, when people have to transition from home, they can't live at home safely anymore. She will come in and do an assessment and see, you know, where they need to be and what is a good fit for them. Unfortunately, in the whole placement industry, there are a lot of people getting into the business because it's not regulated, and so it sometimes can be troublesome because, you know, they want to put you in the most expensive one. And she's going to look at the budget for the long haul and see where a person needs to fit and what's a good fit for them. And a good portion of what happens, she gets a placement fee from the facility that they move into, and a good portion of that goes back into Seniors First. So that's why we work with her exclusively, because we know the quality of work she does, and we trust that has our mission in mind and is going to follow what our desires are. So she's a placement specialist, over 18 years of experience with coming up with lifestyle planning. Oftentimes she'll meet with the family or with a loved one and say, you know, they don't need to go into a facility now, but these are things that you need to look for. And she'll also, especially if there's a cognitive issue, she'll get all the paperwork in order so when the time comes, you're not in a crisis situation. And that's critical, because oftentimes it's at the last moment when it's a critical moment and there's paperwork that's not signed and there's a cognitive issue, and that causes things to hold up. So she helps you with the planning part and sits down with the family. She also does meetings with people when there's conflict. Like when one adult child says that mom should move in with me and the other adult child says, no, I want her to move into this facility. So she sits down and helps resolve those conflicts as well. Okay, and this is our beautiful Denise. So I always say that this is the most important thing that we do, because this is what connects everything that we do. I always carry with me our business card and give it to people and say, you know, this is your hotline to help. From Monday through Friday, we have operators and Denise is one of them, who just give out resources. And with our funding, how it works is, If somebody calls us with a request for a resource, we give out 3 resources if we have them for whatever their request is. Then within 2 weeks, we call back and follow up and see, was that a good resource? This opens up the door to be able to help with other things. Sometimes somebody will call just about one thing, or they start, and then 10 years later, they start maybe with transportation, and 10 years later they go, I could really use some in-home help. And so they call Denise, and Denise gives them a list of 3 companies, and they make that decision. They vet it out. You can tell her a little bit about what you're looking for, and she can tell you the best choices. But we vet all the resources. One of the things that she's going to talk about is our resource guide. We now are moving to printing it every year, and it has only the most frequently used resources in it, but we have over 1,000 in our database. And if we don't have a resource for something that's being requested, she goes out and finds it. So she has a team that goes and looks on the internet and finds a good resource. We get them vetted and then add them to our book. So it's a really amazing program, and they're connecting every day to services. One story I will say is we had a person call that was suicidal and was considering taking his life. And Denise took the call, and she kept him on the phone and kept him talking while she had one of her coworkers call the sheriff and get some help out for him. The most amazing thing about that is that as soon as he was okay and went to a facility, that her team jumped into action and got a whole circle of support for this gentleman. They had a local chaplain that lived as a neighbor. They connected him with him. They were checking to see when he was going back home, so they wanted to know as soon as he walked back in the door that he knew he had a support system set up. And so he's been successful. He was a veteran that wasn't getting the benefits, and he just needed somebody to advocate, just to hear him, to be there and to listen and help him through the process. And her team was able to do that. Not only did he called because he wanted them to save his dog because he was going to take his life, but they stopped him from doing that, and then they set him up with resources that really helped him and changed his life. And so that's really what we're there for. We often get calls where people are homeless, they're on the verge of being homeless, out of food, need resources, and the issues are not getting easier, they're getting more complex. And so they deal with a lot on a daily basis. I tried to fill in for her one day, and I realized she's the most important person I know. So I've got to keep her employed with me forever because she does an amazing job, and she does it very well. So it's a really good thing. And so then I was talking, our new resource guide, we have our old resource guide out there, but the new one's coming out shortly. So next month, I say? End of the month. End of July. But she brought a sample of it. It's a little bit different. We've changed it. We've improved it quite a bit. We've actually explained some sections that, like what the different sorts of living, assisted living and whatnot. And her team spent a lot of time working on this and perfecting it. There's also an ad that's a full-page ad. Our local DA is amazing. They have a whole elder fraud unit that focuses on elder scams and fraud and really prosecutes when they can to get justice for those seniors that are affected by that. And there's so many scams out, but they have a whole page in it too. So we're working really hard to collaborate with other organizations to make sure that all the resources are in there that need to be. And I think that's...
And where will we get this revised?
It's coming up the end of July. It's always at Sutter and it's always at the libraries, but I will make sure to connect with Lincoln Hills people, and we'll have a certain spot where it's at. So just look for that from Lincoln Hills Foundation. It'll probably be, I can bring a bunch and we'll put it, maybe you guys can put a little blurb in a newsletter or something. But it's gonna be really helpful. It's also gonna be online. So if you have online access, you can go. It's going to be flippable just like it is. So what's really great about that is if you're working with another senior that needs help, you can say, go to page 22, and you can see what they're looking at, and it's the same as the hard copy. So we're really excited about it. Her team has worked really hard, and she's going to come up and talk more about it and go through some of the stuff about it. So you can come ahead.
I have a question.
Okay.
How about putting a full-page ad in our Compass?
That is a really good idea.
Another possibility is we have inserts, companies put inserts, page inserts, because I
Okay.
really think people need to know
Yes.
about this. It's
Yeah, and
tremendous.
she's going to talk about some of the changes we made. Some of the changes we made are really amazing, and they're really going to be, it's going to be a tool. I already go out and speak, and I have people that come and they've seen me speak before, and they say, they hold it up and they have all their writing in it and their resources, and they say it's the Senior Bible, and that's just so touching to me that that it's useful and that people really rely on it. And also, I mean, the most important thing I tell people is that you have that guide, but if you have any problems, some people have issues even just finding what they're looking for in the guide. Call. You've got operators that are willing to help you. So why don't you come on up, and then we can answer any other questions you might have too. And I will just say, with Taking on the Meals on Wheels, we are in desperate need of volunteers for our transportation program, for our meals program. So if you're interested and you have some extra time, we have several routes here in Lincoln because it's really started here. So if you're interested, please let us know. I have applications here, but it's really an easy process, and we'll take you if we can get you.
Awesome.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Denise, and I manage information and assistance, and I'm really excited to talk about the resource guide.
Come up a
Sorry,
little. I know
way
it's
up
hard.
close. And we worked very hard to keep the outside the way it is, so that it's an article that you would be able to see. So it will look like just the same as what you're seeing in the current one, but the inside is going to be changed so that it is so much more user-friendly. I receive calls every day from people in crisis, people that are trying to plan, and we realized in our past resource guide that it wasn't enough to list the items what might be a resource. We needed to explain what the different categories meant. So housing, sure, we all know what housing is, but it means different things to different people. And so when you're looking for assisted living or an apartment or a board and care, we went through and we actually defined what those different types of housing were, and then did a write-up about it so that you could refer to it, you could share it with someone else that's trying to figure out how to work with that category. And so that is what we've done in this. We've decided the categories that were most predominantly used and listed them with a description, with resources right below. The one thing we added this time that I think is going to help a lot of people too is we have listed the web pages. So on the web page, you'll be able to refer to, you'll just click on the link and it'll take you right to the web page. And that'll help you as well. It'll have a phone number, the name of the group, and then the web page. And this time too, we've realized there's a lot of people out there that want to plan. They don't want to be the one caught in a crisis trying to make a decision. So we've added a whole section on how to be a caregiver. What do I do when I become that caregiver? How do I cope with it? Where do I find resources? And it's not just for your loved one, for in-home care. It is for you, so that you can be effective and survive that role and thrive at it. We also have another big concern that is out there is scams. And there's lots of them. They're on the internet, they're over the phone, they're at the bank. There are caregivers or our family could possibly scam us. And so we put some articles in there on how to avoid being scammed, how to look at your situation and make good choices. So part of it is educating you all and us as well on how to work with different situations. So this is going to be a great resource. We're really excited to present it to you. There's going to be senior discounts in there. Where do you go to get a senior discount? What's a senior? How do you work with that? So we're going to have a whole listing of options there. We'll also have resources for web pages, typical ones such as Social Security and Medicare and Medi-Cal. We'll have some easy access information for you all. Is there anything else I should?
I don't know. Does anybody
touch
have any
on?
questions about resources or resource? She's the expert, so this is the person to ask. We have a question right over here.
I assume that you served just Placer, maybe Sacramento County, but do you have any liaison with other counties like Contra Costa? When I needed temporary help, my family insisted, and I didn't mind, that it be given, say, in Walnut Creek. And do you have any interaction or resources or that one could find out about care in other counties?
Great question. I do. I have resources for every county in California, every state in the U.S. for the aging population. So I have the area agencies on aging, and I have the information lines for each county and for each state. Yes.
We actually get a lot of calls from other states saying, is this a franchise? Do they have Seniors First in other locations? And the one thing that you're lucky to be in Placer County because everything is really, all of our services, we provide 7 programs under one roof, and that's huge. That's unheard of. A lot of different counties have it all separated, and so it's really hard for the older adult. They have to find, maneuver through it, and whereas it's all, if you call Denise, you'll get whatever you need.
Yeah, even in our neighboring counties, we've discovered that the county may run certain transportation or information, and then rides may come from a nonprofit. So it's very disconnected, whereas if you call information and assistance through Seniors First, we can typically find you the resources in Placer County or a resource. We can guide you a little bit too. If you're trying to help someone in your family or a friend in another county, we can say you might want to ask for the following items. And that's helpful, to ask the right questions is the other thing.
How do we obtain your updated manual?
I do have a form I can have you fill out if you want me to make sure to get one to you. We typically, because of the cost of shipping, we don't ship them. We have them at every single library. They're at the Sutter Hospital, they're at Kaiser, and I will make arrangements to let them know exactly when they'll hit, and I will, if I have to come hang out here, which is a fabulous place to hang out, I'll bring case after case and just hang out, and I'll be ready for you.
If you contact the foundation, we'll find.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, we're really excited. It's going to be a hit, but we're going to update them every year so that the information stays timely.
Just so everybody knows, Neighbors Indeed keeps a stock of the resource guides here in the Calaga Library.
That's wonderful. There we go. But you can also grab our cards. You can ask. I live in Rockland. I'm happy to take a trip down. If for some reason you miss it in the other locations, just call us. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I'd like to know if they have extra drivers that they can call on. I have a bad eye, and every so often I have to go get shots in it. I can drive there, but I can't drive myself back. 2 weeks ago I called, and they said, sure, we'll get you a driver. Well, I hadn't heard anything. So I called back yesterday, and she says, oh, no, I'm sorry. We couldn't get you a driver. We only have 2 for that day. And I said, well, okay. Well, put me kind of in a bind, because then I have to find somebody who will take me, which means I'm impinging on somebody else's time and my friendship with them. Is there any way they can let us know earlier if they can't find someone?
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that, and I'd love to take your name so I can get to the bottom of what happened. We are really low on drivers. We have more drivers up in the Auburn area than we do down this way, so it's really a struggle to find drivers, but that's no reason why you should have gotten a call way ahead of time to be able to make that arrangement. So I apologize for that, because that shouldn't happen. We've had staff out on vacation, so that could have been part of it, but please let me know your name so I can follow up and investigate. We also, through Placer County Transportation Planning Agency, we have a fund that we can utilize in emergency situations. There was a gentleman that needed to get medication drastically, and we were able to get him a ride, so we do have that to access as well. So take my card, but let me know your name so that I can follow up, because I'll make sure that doesn't happen anymore. I'm sorry that happened to you. We'll fix it. Oh, another question. So what she said is that they had to cancel the day of the appointment, and she wished she would have known. And I apologize for that, because the only problem we have with that one program is that it's all volunteer based, so volunteers get sick, and so we're dependent upon them and their schedules. So oftentimes, that can happen, and that's what happens when you're dependent upon a lot of volunteers. It's a huge pool of people, but. You can always take my business card and give me a call. I mean, if it's something like that comes up, definitely. And I apologize that wasn't handled differently. So I'll be checking into that. Any other questions for us? No? Okay. Well. Oh, there's one more.
So I just wanted to take the opportunity to put in a plug for volunteering. I've been a My Rides volunteer since January, and it's a very rewarding way to meet people and feel that you're helping. And so if anyone has a little extra time and some extra energy, it's a fun thing to do.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, we are in desperate need of drivers. The program's wonderful how it works. It's just that oftentimes we don't have drivers, and so that's the only limitation we have. And so when we have a good, wonderful volunteer like you, we really appreciate it, because we constantly have the need. It's just filling it all the time. It's hard. So if you know anybody that wants to spare a little bit of time, it is, like you said, it's so rewarding. It changes your life in such a positive way. And these people that need the rides, they appreciate it so much. There's a reason why they can't drive, and they so appreciate that somebody's there to take them and helps keep them independent. So it's really, so thank you for what you do. We appreciate you. And if you have any questions, we're going to be in the back, and we have all of our literature. Pick up my card. If you have any questions, send me an email. And thank you so much for being here today.
And thank you very much for the wonderful presentation.